Hey guys, Seton HVAC here. So in today's video, I have another customer that is potentially getting screwed by another one of these private equity firm compromised HVAC companies in my area here in Central Oregon. They try to pass themselves off as a family-owned company, and they are not. And I'm going to try to rescue them. I hope they call me. Here we go. Guys, happy Wednesday. So kind of at that time of the year where I'm waking up at like 3 o'clock in the morning every morning, and it takes me a couple hours to get back to sleep, and then I sleep another hour and get up feeling groggy.
Well, that's great. That's just fucking great, man. Now what the fuck are we supposed to do?
Not really feeling all the way there, and a lot of it has to do with this time of year being the shoulder season, where all you can think about is getting more work. How do you get more work? You know, these big companies in town, you know, they got guys running. I'm sure they're struggling. I'm sure they got some vans that aren't leaving the parking lot, or if they take them home, they're not leaving their house.
We're some real fruity shit now, man.
But, you know, if I can just get another small percentage of each of those companies' work, I'd be fine. And I've been working my ass off trying to find a way to get a larger share of the market around here, and it's just been pretty dead. And then I get things like this that piss me off. It continues to piss me off, and I shouldn't let it. I should just accept it. It is the way it is. But on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis, I try to educate the local consumers around here what the hell's going on. So an old colleague of mine, an old friend of mine that I used to work with years back, used to live in the same small town as him. He has a neighbor. Sorry, I'm a little congested today.
Game over, man. It's game over.
He has a neighbor that had a high electric bill, had a high energy bill, so they called this company out, and I assume they had no, they didn't have a maintenance contract with them, but they had them out.
Come on over here, Ron. Let me show you what I'm doing. Taking advantage of some of the time off to add a whole new wing on here. I'm going to rip these walls out and, of course, rewire it.
Yeah, you're going to make it all 220?
Yeah, 220, 221, whatever it takes.
And they told him that their compressor was bad, and I don't know. He gave them my phone numbers. Hopefully they call me. I'm really hoping that they do, because these prices are ridiculous. So,
I was just blow drying my hair. Thought I heard the phone ring. That ever happen to you? Anyway, call me. We'll talk about it.
let me just read you. So he came out to this customer's house. Of course, I'm not going to show you the company or anything, but I do know it's one of those larger companies that was compromised by a private equity firm.
Because here's one thing that's not going to happen. What? We're not going to get fired. We're not. Because we've already been fired.
It's one of those companies. They got vans running around in the Willamette Valley over here in Oregon. They have an office over there. They also have an office over here in Central Oregon. I'll leave it at that. I won't say anything more about them. I don't want them thinking I'm defaming them, whatever. So here's what the text said. He said, I was dispatched to diagnose high energy bills and poor heating on a 2020 Carrier heat pump and 2018 Trane air handler. It's an ICP heat pump on a Trane air handler. Probably wasn't a smart move to do that from the beginning, but it is what it is. During the diagnostic, I noticed the breaker for the heat pump was in a tripped position. The compressor is tripping breaker shortly after startup. When compressor is unplugged, the system no longer trips the breaker. There are no rub outs or breaks in wiring insulation. So you got to diagnose this stuff further. You can't just pull the plug on it, and if it doesn't trip the breaker, just condemn the compressor. There's other things you can do. You can put a hard start kit on it. You need to check out the capacitor. You need to check out other things. I just need to get my eyes on it. They might be getting screwed here. He said they also noticed there's no crankcase heater, and that could have something to do with it as well.
Do you think so?
Copeland recommends having a crankcase heater. Every heat pump should, especially around here when they can sit for a bit when it's really cold. So, option A, immediate repair. Here's what he said. Needs to replace the compressor, needs to replace the crankcase heater. He has a standard price here for the compressor, and it says standard and it has Comfort Plus. I'm assuming Comfort Plus is if you sign up with their maintenance program, which they want to get you on. They want to get you on this maintenance program because then they pretty much feel like they own you. Standard price for this compressor replacement, $7,133.
I picked the wrong week to quit sniffing glue.
You know, I could get a Bosch heat pump, a brand new whole heat pump, and install on it, which will probably be a better match for this Train air handlers, assuming it has a TXV on it, than what is on there now. So an entirely brand new unit with a brand new warranty, I could get them for less than what this is. And then standard $973 for a crankcase heater, a $50 crankcase heater. So if they sign up on a maintenance program, they will do the compressor. This is a discounted price, right? They will do a compressor for $5,707.
It's a write-off for them.
How is it a write-off?
They just write it off.
Write it off what?
Jerry, all these big companies, they write off everything.
You don't even know what a write-off is.
Do you?
No, I don't.
But they do. And they're the ones writing it off.
Now, I like money. I like making money. But I looked up a brand new OEM, this compressor, an OEM compressor for this unit. It's about $1,100 my cost. Now, this is a 410A system. It's not an R22. The refrigerant's not really expensive. Even with an R22, I couldn't see jacking this up to $5,707. And then their bargain price for the crankcase heater is $779. Okay. Option B, suggested repair, system enhancements. Add a surge protector. I get my my surge protectors usually for about $50 to $70. And they take about 10 minutes to put on. He wants standard price $626 to install a surge protector. That's about $2,000 an hour. And then if they sign up on the maintenance program, they'll be nice and they'll do the surge protector for $521. And then he's got an option C on here. System is 5 years old, does not need to be replaced. Now, the one thing you want to do there is you want to figure out why the compressor went bad. You don't want, and it could be because it didn't have a crankcase heater. It might have caused some undue wear and tear. Maybe the customer has a shitty duct system. Maybe they're not good at keeping their filter changed. I don't know. Maybe they just got a bum compressor. It happens. But, you know, to be charging these type of prices to people, it's criminal. And they don't care about these local consumers. You know, there's some fat cat probably lives back east somewhere that is giggling all the way to the bank, taking advantage of these people. They don't live in their fucking community. I live in their community. I'm so tired of it. These big corporations taking over these HVAC companies, screwing people over. They're not in the community. They don't have any skin in the game, and they want to keep doing this shit. And I'm going to keep making sure people know about it. In Central Oregon, okay? In Central Oregon. People are getting screwed left and right Meanwhile, I'm sitting here trying to dig up work the best I can and do honest work, and they got this shit going on. I'm so tired of it. So I've said my piece. Hopefully you guys get the gist of this. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. And if you're a consumer watching this, be aware. Be very aware. These vultures are out there.